20 years ago, a couple I'd known for many years received a diagnosis of Alzheimer's. The husband immediately retired to care for Julia. Mike learned many lessons for living as they confronted Alzheimer's together. Mike, a lifelong diarist, joined Julia on a journey through fear and faith and Alzheimer's. He chronicled a story of enduring love while continuing to live out of their lifelong faith. Some people, like Julia and Mike, readily acknowledge faith as being integral to life. This didn't eliminate, but rather accompanied their diagnosis of Alzheimer's. Those who once may have described themselves as religious in similar circumstances might find themselves giving up on God. Others still, who would never describe themselves as people of faith, may allow that they are spiritual to a degree. Many people have experienced enough of life's vagaries to question God's role in it all. These questions may signal the beginning of the spiritual journey rather than the end. Wherever we stand in relation to faith or spirituality, we find ourselves pondering what kind of future lies ahead of us. That kind of question taunts the minds of people with dementia, as well as the hearts of those who care about them. We see ourselves, or a person we care about, losing words, forgetting treasured stories of the past, unable to do up buttons or feed oneself. Mike writes, "I'm sickened by the number of farewells associated with the disease. Being religious entails living towards a future we can never control, with what Barack Obama calls the audacity of hope. It's not that people are religious, we're dealing rather with the religious in people. We can think of religion as rafts, human artifacts, constructs that arise in response to something that has swept us away. We can certainly be swept away by dementia, but that's not necessarily the end of us. Dare we hope that life is more than Shakespeare's dismal estimation in Macbeth, that life is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury and signifying nothing. We can confidently access the future through hope and through love. Mike writes in his diary, "I was called to guard my loved one's dignity as a human being, while watching a disease gradually strip her of her functions. At the Last Supper, during a meal shared with his dearest, Jesus says, 'Do this in memory of me.' What's the this that we might do, even if our memory fails? Surely it's caring about each other. That's the raft that keeps us from being swept away, even as memory fails." There's a story of an Irish farmer who spent each day ploughing the land. One day, a tourist stopped by seeking directions. One thing led to another, and the tourist asked, "What do you think of all day as you plough the fields?" Without a wink, the farmer replied, "Oh, I say my prayers." "You must know a lot of prayers." Not at all, says the farmer. Possessing the audacity of hope, the farmer explained, "I recite the alphabet all day long, and then I put the alphabet in God's hands, and God turns the letters into words, and the words into sentences, and ultimately into prayer." How ironic. Our memory fades even though we may have provided space in our lives for seeing and valuing God's action among us. We may no longer remember, but that's precisely when the reverse promise comes into play. We may not remember God, but God never forgets us. What memories might you kindle for a loved one living with dementia? How might you share memories? Which pictures or music will speak?